Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen for another week's worth of What's for Dinners. My name is Bethany, or Budget Bethany, and this week I will be sharing 3 meal ideas with y'all and also a beer bread recipe. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned. Alright, so up first I'm going to be sharing my roast recipe with y'all, and it's nothing real fancy. I usually keep it pretty simple whenever I'm doing my roast, and we always like to do our roast with gravy and potatoes and carrots. That's just how we prefer it. But this is that morning, so I'm opening my roast, and I'm going to add it to my crock pot, and then I'm going to add in some seasonings, and then I'm going to cover the roast with some water, and then I'm just going to cook that on low for about 5 to 6 hours, and it's usually done by evening time whenever we're ready to eat dinner. And then once it's done, you'll add in your brown gravy. You will need 2 packets of brown gravy, and my husband is so nicely adding this 1 packet of brown gravy into the crock pot with our roast. And then here I am adding the second packet of brown gravy into our roast, and then you'll just mix that up real well, and that part will be done. And right here I'm just boiling my carrots and potatoes. I like to cook them separate from my roast. That way I can make sure that they are done. And then once they are done, I will strain the water off of them, and I'll just add them into the crock pot with the roast and gravy. And on this night I did have to add in a little bit more water into my gravy. It just didn't have enough, so I added a little bit of more water so it would be extra gravy. And this is how my roast, carrots, and potatoes looks once everything is mixed together, and we just serve ours over a bed of rice, and it's delicious, y'all. If you've ever tried roast this way, you should try it. We prefer this way over the Mississippi roast. This is just how we like it. I don't know, maybe we're just plain people, but this is how we like our roast, and it's so delicious. So if you have not tried it this way, please try it, y'all. Alright, for the next night we had some baked lemon pepper shrimp, and to start with you'll just add some butter into a bowl, and you'll melt that butter, and then you will add in your shrimp and cover with the seasonings that you choose. I chose Old Bay and of course lemon pepper, but then you'll just mix all that together. And also I wanted to note that once you melt the butter and you add in your cold shrimp, that the butter will clump back up, but it's fine because it will all melt once you put it in the oven. Once you get all that done and the shrimp coated really well with the butter and the seasonings, you will dump it out onto a baking sheet because you are going to bake it, of course. I also like to add a little bit of like fresh lemon juice to my shrimp, but you do not have to. And then next I'm going to start working on my broccoli, and I'm just going to add some broccoli into a pot, and I'm going to add some water and steam it like that. And then in a little bit I'm going to show y'all how I make a cheese sauce to put over my broccoli. Alright, for the cheese sauce, you'll start by adding in about a half a cup of milk, and then you will add in sliced cheddar cheese, I mean, you could use shredded if you prefer, but I had slice on hand, so that's what I'm using, and I'm adding probably about 8 slices of cheese in there. And then you'll just mix that all up and let that melt down. And I'm also going to add in some cream cheese, and I don't always do this, but I had just a little bit left in there, so I decided to use that. And anyway, you'll let all that melt down, and it will make a cheese sauce, and you just pour that over your broccoli. I promise you, you will not regret it. I also had these hush puppies, so I decided I was going to use them this night. I figured they would go really good with our shrimp, but all you have to do is just put them in a baking pan and bake them in the oven. You just read the directions that's on the pack. Alright, and for another side to go with our shrimp, we're going to be doing twice baked potatoes. So to start with, you'll just poke holes into your potatoes and you'll boil them for about half the time. So you want them to be half done. You still want them to be kind of hard because you will be baking them also. And then right here, I'm just adding in a little bit of cream cheese to my sour cream because I had a little bit left. So I'm just going to mix it all together and use it like that. But once your potatoes get through baking, you will scrape out the inside of the potatoes into a bowl, and you'll just need the skins. And then once you get all the potato raked out of the skins, you will mix the cream cheese and sour cream mixture, salt and pepper together with the potatoes, and then you will dip that back onto your skins. And then once you get through adding all your toppings to your potatoes, you can put it back in the oven for about 5 minutes just to melt your cheese and everything. And then this is how our plate looked once everything was plated up together. It was really good. Everybody enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We will be cooking it again. Alright, y'all, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make some beer bread, and you will only need 4 ingredients. You will need some sugar. The recipe calls for a 12-ounce can of beer, but I've got an 8-ounce, some self-rising flour, and some butter. To start with, you will need 3 cups of self-rising flour, and 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, And then, of course, you will need some beer. And like I said, I'm using an 8-ounce can, but you can use a 12-ounce can because that is what the recipe does call for. Now you will need to mix everything up really well. And I was out of non-stick cooking spray, so I'm just going to use some good old butter. That's how my grandma used to do it, to keep my bread from sticking to my pan. And then once I get it all greased up, I'm going to add the bread mixture into my pan, and then you will cover with some melted butter. Once you pour your melted butter over the top, you will bake it in the oven on 350 for about 45 minutes. And here's my beer bread once it was done. If you like the taste of beer, then you are sure to like this kind of bread. On this night, we were having some good old fried chicken, so I'm just got some chicken legs right here, and I'm just going to be seasoning them up. You can choose to season them whatever kind of seasoning you like, because it's your kitchen, you're cooking it, so you do it however you want to do it. But I'm using some soul seasoning and some garlic powder, and my mama is here on this evening, so you may see her in the background. She is in charge of cooking the squash. She's doing some stewed squash with some mozzarella cheese on them, so y'all will not see me cooking that, but is getting cooked by her. You will see it at the end when we have our plate all plated up. And then once I get my chicken seasoning, I'm going to be dipping it in flour and then just putting it into the grease and letting it get all fried up and delicious. To go with the fried chicken, I decided to make some rice and tomatoes because that is my mama's favorite food to eat. So I just did some canned tomatoes and I simmered them in a pot until my rice got done, and I just got the parboiled rice. Then I just mixed those two together, add some salt and pepper, and that's it. And I'm just stirring up the squash that my mama was cooking right here. And then I'm going to open up 2 cans of sweet peas. And then I'm going to just dump that into a pot. And I'm going to add in a little cube of butter. And that will be that. And then here is our delicious southern home cooked meal with our fried chicken, sweet peas, stewed squash, and rice and tomatoes. It was so delicious, y'all. Alright, y'all, so here's a little bit of real life. I did not feel like cooking this night, so we went and got some pizza from Little Caesars. We were just hanging out with the kiddos. We were having some quality family time. And y'all, look at this. I got this at Walmart. It's safe to eat raw cookie dough. So I don't know, my kiddos may or may not get some cookies. But as y'all see, they're coloring. We were hanging out. I hope y'all enjoyed this What's for Dinner. If you did, please leave me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see y'all next week. And until then, bye, y'all.